Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to thank you for attending this webinar on mobility with Epicor ERP. You may notice that you're muted by default. That's pretty common practice for these things. However, you can submit any comments and questions you may have through the Zoom webinar chat feature, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. For those of you not already familiar with Encompass Solutions, you're probably asking yourself, who the heck are these guys and what do they do? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Encompass Solutions is a business consulting firm. We're staffed by industry experts who specialize in enterprise software systems, managed services, and EDI. Our staff support and advance projects through a combination of thought leadership, industry expertise, and our own special brand of back-end sorcery. We've been working together with businesses on a global scale for nearly 20 years, 15 of which have been spent in partnership with BezLeo. Our two organizations routinely share resources and collaborate on projects. Together, we provide the critical tools and processes that a modern business needs to achieve their goals and outpace their competitors. Now, if we are ready, Hillary, our hostess, will take over. Are you ready, Hillary?
I am.
Excellent.
Hi, Sean. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab control of your screen. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here. And I'm actually, I think right now the display settings are backwards on us. Let me see if I can swap that. There we go. All right. So as Sean mentioned, today we are going to cover kind of what BezLeo is and some of the solutions that we have in. I'm going to go over kind of the back-end development of it for you, talk around the framework, and then also go actually through some live demos showcasing how the solution works from the mobile device itself. So as Sean briefly went over the About Encompass screen here, and again, I know they were founded in 2001, and together we've been providing solutions for about 15 years together. So before we get started, kind of who we are, and a little bit more details on us as a company. So many of you may actually know us actually as Sabre Logic. We were established back in 2002, really as a consulting and development firm. We're based in Northeast Ohio in a small town at the time called Wadsworth. So we have about 20 years of experience really working specifically in ERP, CRM, and Crystal report development. And over that course of time frame, we consistently heard the same wants and desires from our customers. And as companies started looking into digital transformation and how to mobilize their information, previously we were doing large custom solution applications for these customers. And our founders really had the idea of how do we make this a reusable platform to deliver the same type of solutions that we did as a custom service, but reusable on the mobile platform. So we developed BezLeo. And after about 15 years of being very successful custom solutions company, we actually transitioned our entire business over to BezLeo, which is a mobile platform. Today, that is our sole focus, as I mentioned, and we are located still in Northeast Ohio, but in Akron currently, so Rubber City, USA. So a little bit of overview on BezLeo itself. Mentioning we have BezLeo as the cloud in the middle here, and that's going to connect to any of your devices. What makes BezLeo unique is we do install service behind your firewall, which makes it incredibly secure. We actually utilize AES 256 encryption for any of the information. So what ends up happening is BezLeo's service actually speaks to a variety of different data points. So whether that's your ERP or CRM, any cloud services that you have that you'd want to bring and mobilize that data, BezLeo is able to do that. And really what ends up happening is from the device that the user is using. It's going to ask for permission through the cloud. Again, the cloud actually doesn't store any of the framework or doesn't store any of the information itself. It's really just going to be the framework, and you'll see this a little later on as I go through the demo, to be how you want the information to be displayed itself. It's also going to verify that the user has access rights to request the information that it is being sent. And then on the back end, we also have an encryption again that the user has access to the information specifically that they're requesting. So for instance, the sales functionality, we can get very granular into what information each user is seeing. So whether it's specific to their specific accounts, their specific customers, that's the only information they're going to access. So we do have a few kind of drop-in solutions, and we'll talk about those here in a little bit further. But to get, again, a little bit more conversation into the framework, because that's ultimately what BezLeo is. BezLeo is a framework that enables you to create, whether it's no code, low code, or our pre-existing developed solutions, and deploy them quickly and effectively across multiple platforms. So we are native for iOS, Android. We do have a web client as well that mirrors the exact application that you'd have from a mobile device. So on the far left hand graphic here, you can see, again, BezLeo sits in the middle of all of your data points. So whether that is connecting to the ERP separately, to the SQL server and creating different reports, Salesforce or other CRM functionalities, it's not only going to be able to read and write to those specific data points, but you're actually, with BezLeo, able to mash the information up into a single screen as well. So when we talk about our sales functionality, we can pull not only from Epicor ERP, but also from, say, Salesforce or Epicor CRM into that single screen and provide the most accurate and up-to-date information for your reps within the fields. Because it is a native application, it is easily deployed, and this is just to the far right, a quick screenshot into some of our sales functionality that we have. So let's take a little bit closer look at some of these frameworks. And most of our customers today do use some of the pre-built frameworks that we have for the platform. And we'll get into a little bit more detail later, but we do give full customization to where you can develop your own as well if you have the expertise in-house. So to start, we have probably one of our most popular frameworks, outside sales CRM functionality. So we have set up and we've worked with multiple customers over the last 2 years to really optimize what that sales execution looks like and how do we gather the information that really lives within the ERP, but also within the CRM, and bring it together to make a functional use case. With our sales and CRM tool, we're able to prioritize activities, setting follow-up dates. You have kind of snapshots as to the year-to-date sales, versus last year date sales, some budgeting information, and really just enables them to be able to work more effectively, meaning they're able to collect the data. So whether it's easily notating the calls that they're completing to customers, noting a visit, and taking additional notes, storing that within the system so that it's easily accessible to everyone within the organization as well. Also, in the same retrospect, because it is both read and write capable, they're able to get the most up-to-date information out of the ERP. So As an example of that, customer service rep may take a call from the company, and the sales rep themselves are on the road traveling to that customer. When they get there, they're able to log in, see all the call logs, and if one was just entered in, even within the last 5 seconds, they're going to be able to read that information that was stored. Another example that we have is the field time and materials. We also like to refer to this more as a field service light solution. So it enables you to better track job cost, labor entries, and it's all captured in real time. When we say real time, again, because BezLeo itself doesn't store any information, we're actually talking about milliseconds that the information is going to be written back or read from the database itself. With being able to have it on the phone, the staff is able to perform their work more effectively. So whether it's issuing material to a job, again, even clocking on, ensuring that lunches are clocked appropriately and that information is stored for them, just really helps to speed up and optimize their day-to-day workflow. And now I am actually going to switch over and I'm going to share my phone at this point for you. That way we can see it. So those few items that I just showcased, and there's my phone. Go ahead and log in. And as you can see, BezLeo, as I mentioned, is a native app. It sits right on the mobile device itself. Not only does it support all of your newer technologies, but if you're like me, I like to run my phones into the ground. So I am actually running an iPhone 6. It is on the latest iOS system, but I don't have any connectivity issues at all for BezLeo. One of the benefits with BezLeo too is when you log in for the first time, there's a feature to remember me. With that, then your user's not going to have to consistently log into the app itself. So it's always going to load up with their information. Now I shut this down completely. That way you can see the speed of everything. So what that was doing, there was actually pulling and making those initial connections and securing those permissions across the user. Again, the permissions that I had earlier talked about for you. So when you're within BezLeo, you can actually see it's kind of set up as an app within an app at that point in time. And that's kind of how we like to think about the platform itself, versus running multiple different sources and solutions and softwares. You're actually able to do a lot all within the single platform of BezLeo. So here, right at the top here, we have our outside sales and CRM. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the CRM bezel. So bezel is, in our terminology, what we would refer to as the individual app itself then. So it's going to load up. Give me a second. Here we go. And when it first opens, you can see this first screen, not all that busy right now, but we leave it like this for really demo purposes, for exactly what it says at the top. You have the ability to customize the dashboard. So you can put graphics on the screen to show specific KPIs. You can look at total year-to-date number versus last year-to-date number as a sales team or for the individual sales rep. So this first screen is fully customizable. And then at the bottom, we actually have the 3 tabs there. We've got the dashboard, which is the screen that we're on now. We have accounts and then quotes. So I'm going to click into accounts first. And then this is going to open up into, really breaks your accounts into 3 kind of buckets. And if any of you are familiar with Epicor ERP, it's going to follow that same flow that ERP does with Epicor CRM. So they're broken down into suspects, prospects, and customers. And then at the top, of course, we have just the snapshot for how many are within here. And this is, of course, just the Epicor Demo database. So right now we've got 39 customers. But here we can see right now we're underneath suspects, and we have 2, Dreer and Linewood graphics. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click into Linewood graphics. So as a suspect, you are able to see if there's any open leads, opportunities, quotes, orders, shipments, or tasks. More importantly, from a suspect standpoint, though, it's going to be the information up at the top. You have the snapshot, of course, of the sales numbers, but you've got the one-click, kind of the little arrow for directions. This is going to be a one-click to navigate, and it's going to pull up your preferred navigation app on the system. And you can navigate straight to it. Oh, gonna reset for me. There we go. The little people is going to go ahead and pull up our contacts. If there are no existing contacts for this customer, right in the upper right-hand corner there, we have what's stated as the add contact. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And that's going to bring up a page to where they can actually enter in a new contact. Not only are they adding it into and utilizing it through BezLeo, but this is going to save it when they hit save back into the ERP. And also, if there's a separate CRM, it has the functionality to write to both places. The last little orange bubble at the top is going to be where you see kind of the text box there. This is going to be where any call logs are noted. If there is any from the office or previous call log history, it's going to go ahead and list that all out, but you have the ability to add it here. So we can, and the amount of time that it takes to do it is said call added. It actually wrote it back faster than I can speak today. You'll see it's already there. Anybody within the 4 walls then are accessing Epicor directly. It's going to be able to see the same call log that was just entered as well. So going back through, we have our full list of customers. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the customers tab here. And this gets us a little bit more functionality than what you would have within suspects then. So we have ability to filter. You can sort by name, city or state. At the top, we actually have the ability for kind of a smart filter. And as this is from a mobile device, it does do text to speech also. All that same functionality is there. I'm going to go ahead and click on Dalton Manufacturing. And again, similar screens to this here, but with them being an existing customer, we're going to be able to see if there's any new leads, which there isn't. If there's any opportunities. I think I chose the wrong account today. Any open quotes, and you're going to be able to view any of the open quotes are within the system then as well. And you can see within the quotes, it does list it by the follow-up date. And then each of these 3 columns can be sorted as well. So if you can click next to it, then you can see it's reorganizing that screen for you. Again, we can go into the call logs. You can see I utilize this account quite a bit and have added a lot of call logs into the system. If there are contacts, you have enable for one-click call and one-touch email. When you click into the main name, though, it does also enable you to edit the contact and update it. And again, same as if they are a suspect, it's going to update it across all the platforms that this is connected to as well. And then outside of just the quotes, the orders, you can see all the order history. from the order number, the order date, if there's an estimated delivery date that's listed on the order itself. And then you can actually drill further down into that as well. Oh, let's find a good one here. Nope. I know we've been doing some updates on our demo account, so I apologize for that. All right, I'm going to switch over to a different company here for us that I know has some specific information in it. There we go. So here I can actually, again, I can drill down into the order itself. That's interesting. Typically it'll give you the full line items to it. But another example of the drill down capabilities is actually going into shipments. So same as with orders, but this is actually going to list it by the pack number, along with providing you the ship date and the ship status for that order. So here I'm going to actually click into the first one that's still open. You're going to be able to get the details for the actual sales order, the quantity on it, the units of measure, and then the part information as well for that. We also, on the bottom there, we have tasks. So this is going to be able to allow additional users to set a specific action item for the user. One thing that I could show, or I'm not able to show today for you, is we do have the ability to send push notifications. So when a task is assigned, it would have the ability to send a notification just like you would get for any other app, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. It'll pop up on the phone or the tablet and let you know that a new task has been set up for you. So here you have the ability to select the task type. And this is all information that is going to be really pulling from Epicor itself. So we really try and keep to the same language as to what is used within Epicor so that there's consistency across your systems as well. So here we want to change that to appointment, task, start date. Just show you the update for this here, August. Scroll down to 7th. Here, and go through, update the task. You can see that actually changed it on this end to be now an appointment versus just an action item. Okay. Coming back into the main page now. So we've gone through suspects, prospects, and customers. Let's go ahead and go into quotes. So here, again, you have the overarching kind of snapshot with number of leads, opportunities, and quotes in the system. We're going to go ahead and click within quotes. And this is where it becomes more interactive for your user itself. So they're able to schedule the follow-up date. They have a specific quote number, name of the customer. I'm just going to click on the top one here for Colorado Metals. So here it's going to actually list out all the line items on the quote, along with providing then the extended total value at the top. And there's some additional functionality, of course, within the quote. So we have the ability to set the next follow-up date for this. And then within the orange circles, there's the 3 buttons again. So we're able to add a note, so call log, a note direct onto this quote. Again, showcasing demo. And then for more functionality, and as a sales rep myself, I appreciate this functionality quite a bit. So the little pencil is actually going to take us to an update page. We're able to manage the expected close date, which allows you to better forecast and understand kind of the book of business for us. So let's go ahead and we'll set that to the 30th. The slide bar here actually allows you to set the confidence level. So how confident you are that it's going to close. And then you have the ability to close a quote. To then mark it as closed won or closed lost. For each of those, there are the specific case then as to why it was marked as each being pulled from Epicor. Set that, or you can close lost, pricing factor. You can update the quote on it. Oh, doesn't like it when I try and do that. So that is a high-level overview of our sales functionality in CRM. Come back here. There we go. Now, one of the other items that we briefly covered from a platform functionality is the mobile field worker or the field service light. Now, the user is going to automatically, it's going to carry through their login information and state their name and their employee ID. And simply they're going to go ahead and click Start Day. What that does, that clocks them in for the day itself. And we can select Start Activity. They have the ability to, if they have barcodes, this will utilize the native camera functionality to scan barcodes as well here, or they can enter an indirect code for it. Right now, we're just doing some basic kind of operational standpoint. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep it clocked in as it is right now. As they start the day, the employee would actually first come in and hit inventory location. If there's different vehicles or different warehouses that they would start from, it's going to pull up for them to choose which vehicle they're going to be working within. So I went ahead and I clicked into repair van 1. So that tells us now they're clocked in. I'm on repair van 1. You'll see in the second row there, we have refill inventory. That has a little mark kind of bubble by it, which alerts us that we may be low on inventory for a specific job. So here we have the specific parts that are going to be needed for the job. And we can see in line 3 there, we're actually missing the required inventory on the truck. I can click on that item and I can see where exactly the inventory is available from the warehouse to the bin itself and what's the available quantity on hand as well. Here, I'm going to just go ahead and choose the first bin 1 and I'm going to mark it as 3 and I'm going to go ahead and hit transfer. What that does, that actually completes the transfer on the back end and that allocates that inventory to the vehicle itself or to the employee for the job. Now, when I come back to the main screen, because we transfer that inventory, we applied it to the job itself or to the vehicle itself, then everything should be good for the day. Next up, they're going to do a customer search for what is on their route for the day and for the jobs that are set up. Go ahead and select the company. If there's multiple sites or multiple addresses, it's going to pull all of those in for the user to select the appropriate location. Here again, we have similar functionality that we had for the CRM as well. So underneath the contacts there, again, 1 click for call, 1 click for email. And then you have the one touch to navigate. So same as navigating to a customer from the sales side, this is also going to open up Google, Apple Maps, whatever the preferred mapping app is that the user has on the phone. And then they can also then hit begin travel. What that does, it updates the activity. So here you can see now current activity, I'm set to travel just versus being set just as clocked in, and allows you to manage the labor accordingly and have it allocated into for each of the jobs. And then end of the day, they're just going to go ahead and click end day. So it tells you how many hours were worked for the day, that you can continue working, or when you hit end day, it's going to go ahead and notate all the labor back into the system. All right. Another example that we have, the production shop floor for labor entry. This is going to really be more focused, again, obviously on the shop floor itself, to where users may have a tablet or mobile device set up at their individual workstation. So here again, because they're logged into BezLeo, that's going to carry through into the specific bezel. So there's not an additional login to the system. They're going to be able to click login. They can start their setup and select that. And then that tells them their activity that they're currently doing. So you've got your start time, obviously, current activity. We can stop that. We can now start the run. If it's a barcode capable, as you can see, it automatically loads up the camera. Showcase that. Oh. And if there isn't a barcode available, they're able to manually go ahead and enter in the work order information for that as well. And then we do have built in any indirect time that they are able to select into. And then similar to the field service, field maintenance, they would click the stop. That's going to list out all of their activity for the day. And then when you hit clock out, that's when it's actually going to write the labor ticket back into the system. Point. And that's really, so showcases kind of 3 different uses that we have from BezLeo as a platform today. So I'd really like to open it up to any questions before I go ahead and I finish the presentation here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to say it's always great to see the latest developments in terms of feature and functionality, as well as the interface that you guys develop with BezLeo. The first question is, what does a general implementation look like? And I'm guessing that refers to like timeline, what's required on the BezLeo end, and then what would be required on the customer end as well. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I can speak to that real quick. So implementation for BezLeo itself, again, we install the service onto the back end, but most of it, we actually handle the full kind of build out. So whether it's a custom solution or just setting up the frameworks, our goal is that we are handing the customer a ready to go solution that's going to meet their requirements. So we would need remote access to the system to ensure that we can pull the right information. And I would say setting up BezLeo and having it up and running, depending on the complexity, but I would say most of our customers that are running the sales functionality, if there's not a lot of customizations that they would need for that, probably have you fully up and running within 30 to 60 days. I think that answered the question.
Awesome, great. And this one kind of harkens back to you mentioning how BezLeo reacts on your somewhat dated iPhone. But what is what does this person's Epicor version need to be in order to run BezLeo?
So we are actively set up for Epicor Epicor 905 through all current existing versions. From a database side, we can connect to SQL Server as well as Progress. So if you are on an older version of Epicor and you're still in Progress database, then we can still connect to that, and we would actually be able to do that utilizing more of an ODBC connection.
Great. And the last one is, can you give a general idea of cost?
Yeah, what I think I will do before I answer that, I'm going to jump back into my presentation here because cost, it kind of goes into when we talk about how BezLeo can be customized. So we really look at cost being set up from, we have a cost from the platform side, which is priced per user at $35 a month. And then you have the customization side. And again, kind of going back into our roots and our partnership with Encompass. So for a lot of the pre-built frameworks, you know, it would be more of an added charge per user per month at that point, depending on what you are looking to do. Or if it's because BezLeo allows you to really develop anything that you need to be mobilized. Again, the sales, the field service, and shop floor functionality are just examples as to what you can do in the platform itself. So it could be to where we would quote it out similar to a standard customization project at that point. Now, the benefit to it is that because we have a lot of these frameworks in place already today, and it tends to be honestly faster, as I said, which ultimately includes a lower upfront price too for the customer. Or if you have developers in-house, everything within BezLeo itself is open for our customers. So they are able to go in, utilizing a little bit of HTML and JavaScript. You can actually fully create your own custom solutions with BezLeo or tweak what is existing today. So we do keep it completely open. I will say it's been a while since I've built my own bezel, but obviously I'm not a developer. I am just a sales rep, and I have been able to follow some instructions and build one out myself. So it is just, as I said, utilizing some HTML, some JavaScript, and we do have some kind of drop and drag frameworks within the builder as well that enables it to, you know, add a button or to set up some graph and or charts that you'd want deployed. So we want to keep that in mind. There isn't today any additional cost for developing within BezLeo. That's just something we keep open for our customers to allow them that extra access.
Awesome, thank you. And that appears to be all I have for questions from the attendees. Do you have a contact information slide you can throw up?
Yes, there we go.
There you go. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to learn a bit more about Encompass and BezLeo and the BezLeo solution. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Hillary. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks again, Hillary.
You're welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. It was a pleasure to speak to you all. Look forward to working with you.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone.